Welcome to the short-term substitute training provided by Orange County Public Schools. You are an important part of making our pivot to remote learning a success. Whether you are substituting for students attending face-to-face or students who are attending school from home, or a combination of both, you're a valuable part of our team. During today's training, we hope to help you understand the arrival process, the login process, how to facilitate a face-to-face lesson using Nearpod, how to facilitate a hybrid or launched at home lesson using Nearpod, and a web conferencing platform, and finally, how to wrap up. Let's start with arrival. When you first arrive on campus, you'll be provided with a room assignment. This is where you'll either be meeting face-to-face students or facilitating a class of remote students. You'll be provided with a username and password that you'll enter into the desktop presentation station. You'll also be provided with a web conference guest link if you're facilitating instruction for students who are learning from home. This will let you get into a web conference room with them. Finally, you'll be provided with a substitute quick card, which will go over the steps in this video in an easy to understand format. Next, let's talk about how you'll log in after you arrive in the classroom. To begin the login process, first you'll turn on the desktop presentation station or laptop computer provided. You'll also want to turn on your document camera. That's the red one in the picture there. It may also be gray. To turn it on, you'll click on the red button. Then on your laptop or desktop presentation station, you'll press Control, Alternate, and Delete buttons all at the same time to log in. You'll enter the provided username in the box, as well as the provided password, and then click on the arrow or Enter on your keyboard. You may see a Smart Ink screen pop up. If you do, click on Got It. Next, let's talk about navigating to Chrome. The first thing you're going to want to do is click on the Google Chrome icon. That's our preferred browser. You can find it on the desktop. Then you'll want to click on the address bar at the top of the screen. The address bar is where you will click and put the information. Then you'll want to type nearpod.com/student and click Enter. That will take you to the Nearpod screen. Now let's talk about what will happen when you get to the Nearpod screen. The first thing that you're going to want to do is type the code that the school has provided to you into the box on the screen that says Enter Code. The next thing you'll want to do is join the session. Then it'll prompt you to enter your name. We recommend you choose your first or last name, whatever you would prefer students call you, -- substitute, so they're aware who the substitute is on the screen. Let's take a minute to learn how to navigate and use the different features in the Nearpod student paced mode as a substitute. You'll notice that on the right and left-hand side of each screen, there are blue arrows. You'll click those blue arrows to advance the slides. Each lesson typically starts with an essential question. The teacher may leave you notes to explain what to say on each slide, or you may read the slide as is. It will depend on what the teacher provides. In this case, the essential question is, how can we make a bar graph? And you may want to ask that to the students in the class. There will also be a slide that goes over the objectives for the lesson. You can read these to students. Then it will be time to start the lesson. In Nearpod, there are several interactive features for students. This is called a Collaborate board. A Collaborate board allows students to be able to type their ideas and post them on a virtual bulletin board. We recommend that you model how to complete each activity with students. This question says, what do you already know about data and graphs? And share details. I can write my answer in the chat box. Like this. And then I can click the post button. If I would prefer, I can choose the picture button and choose a picture off the internet. Like this. Then I can type the words to describe the picture or post the picture by itself. You may also allow students to click on the hearts to like each other's posts. You'll click on the blue arrows to advance the slides. This is called a Draw It. A Draw It is when students can draw on the screen. The directions are provided by the teacher at the top. Look at the bar graph. What information does it tell you? Circle where it tells you how monkeys are in the zoo. You can click on the blue caret to make that go away and see the whole screen. Now students will be able to use the tool at the bottom, the marker, the highlighter, the text typewriter, the picture, or the eraser to answer the question. If they need to check what the directions were again, they can click on the blue caret again to expand. It says students need to circle where it tells you how many monkeys are in the zoo. So we can click on the pen and we can choose a color and adjust the thickness. And then we can use our mouse, or if we have a touchscreen device, a finger or a stylus, to circle what is on the screen. Students may also click on the highlighter and highlight the word monkeys or the bar. They can also click on the text box. You can click on the 4 arrows to move the text box. They can write their answer here as well. It can be resized and moved into place. Students may also take a picture or upload their own picture. They don't have to do that for this assignment, but I want you to know it's there. If they make a mistake, they can click on the eraser and then use their mouse, or if they have a touchscreen device, their finger or a stylus to erase. In a real lesson, there will be a Submit button in the bottom right corner where they can submit their work. Every assignment they do with you in Nearpod will be available for the teacher to see when they return. If students want to erase everything on their page, they may click this icon, which has an X on top of a page. This will erase all of their drawing. You can continue to click the blue arrows to advance the slides. This type of activity is called a fill in the blank. In this activity, students are asked to identify what type of graph this is. They can choose bar graph and drag it up to the correct location and click Done. It will tell them if they've gotten the correct answer. Just like with all the others, you can click the right to be able to move to the next question. This is called an open-ended question. When you share this with students, you can help them by reading the directions at the top that the teacher has left. Study the bar graph. Which animal is the most common? Which animal is the least common? How do you know? Students can click on this image, and you can as well, to make it larger and talk about the question. When you're done talking about it, you can click on the X. Students can click here to be able to answer their questions. Just like with all other activities, they'll need to click Submit for it to be turned into their teacher. Then it'll be time for you to present a part of a lesson. There may be a video. In this video the teacher has embedded, you'll be able to click play and the students will hear the video at home. If necessary, you can click on the closed caption buttons to be able to see the closed captioning, and students can click on settings to choose which language they would like to see that in. Here, we'll choose Spanish, which is a common language in our community. This will allow for Spanish translations to be at the bottom of the screen, even though English is being played. When you're done with students watching the video, you can click on the arrows to advance. They'll have another open-ended question to answer. Every lesson is different, but this is an example of how it may go. There may be a portion where you're asked to help students try things together. But first, you're going to go over some key vocabulary with them. Here's a vocabulary word they need to know. To see this next slide, you'll click on the picture below it. You can read things like this to them. When you're done sharing the information, you'll click on the blue arrow. Here's another example. These are slides that can be read to students. To get to the other slides, number 2, 3, and 4, simply click on the pictures. When you're done sharing the information with students, you can click on the arrow. There may be a part of the lesson that they have to do independently. You can help monitor that they're doing their work during this time. In this lesson, students will be asked to bar graph independently. They'll have to use the drawing tools again. They'll be able to check their work. There may be more than one drawing activity in a lesson. Then you'll get to a matching pairs activity. In this type of activity, students need to match the vocabulary words to the answers. They do that in a way that's pretty easy. The first thing they do is they click on the word. The second thing they do is they click on the definition. If they get it right, it turns green. If they get it wrong, it turns red. At the end of most lessons is a quiz. There might be a reference picture at the top they can look at again, just like earlier in the lesson. They'll have to choose the correct answer on their own. They'll click the Next button to get to the next question. Once they're done, they'll click the Submit button. There may also be a reflection at the end. A reflection could be an open-ended question like we've done before, or it could be something called a poll. A poll looks like a quiz, but it doesn't have any right or wrong answers. In this case, they're asking to say how well they feel they are doing with graphing. The student can choose their selection and move on. After they're done and they've submitted everything, the teacher will be able to run a post-session report to share what they have learned during their Nearpod. They'll be able to see the answers and even the drawings that the students made the next day. This will help them plan their lesson, and that's why it's very important that you remind students to click the Submit button, write incomplete sentences, and do their very best work. We just learned about using a self-paced lesson with Nearpod, but now you may need to learn how to facilitate a second type of Nearpod lesson. Teachers can also leave substitutes something called an interactive video to share with the class. You'll access it the same way. They'll be able to give you a code. When you open it, you'll see a large screen like this with a play button in the middle. There'll be a volume button where you can adjust the volume up or down, and then you'll notice that you can toggle on or off interactive mode. If the teacher has left something interactive, you'll probably want to leave it interactive. Interactive mode means that there'll be points where you can stop and discuss and ask questions with students. There's also a setting button. This will let you determine the video quality and the playback speed. Let's see what it looks like by clicking the play button.
Hello, and thanks for joining me today, guys. We are going to learn about bar graphs.
Oh, look, the first open-ended question. This is going to be an opportunity for the student to be able to discuss with the class and you what a bar graph makes them think of. When they're done discussing, you can click play again.
If you look right here, you can see that we have some fruit. I wanted to know what types of fruit my friends like, so I went out and asked my friends what fruit they liked the most. Here you can see that I have tally marks to show how many of my friends liked which fruit most. You might know already, but a tally mark is a useful way to represent data. Each time a friend told me they liked a certain fruit, I would put a tally mark under that fruit to keep track of how many people liked that fruit. Now we will put all this information that I have gathered into a bar graph. A bar graph is another way to represent data. It is a lot like a picture graph, but without the pictures or symbols.
Now this is a multiple choice question. This is an opportunity for you to give students 3 ways that they can answer this question, and then move on. You can also jump ahead to the next question to preview them. If you click Expand, you'll see the choices. In this case, it says 3 people liked oranges, 2 people liked apples. How many more people liked oranges than apples? You can coach students to find the answer. And if you're not sure of the solution, you can click Show Solution. You can preview all of the questions and answers. Remember, to see the questions, click Expand. When the video is over, you can click the X sign to end it. Next, we'll learn how to facilitate a time to climb activity. The last type of activity you'll need to know about is called a time to climb. Just like with other self-paced lessons, you'll put in your name, and then we recommend that you put in the sub so that the teacher knows these are not student answers. Then you'll click Join Lesson. Your students will be racing to the top of the mountain by answering questions. In K through 2, these are image-based quizzes. In the older grades, they may involve words and numbers. Students will need to answer the questions quickly and accurately in order to win the game. When it first opens, students will be able to choose their character. We'll choose a penguin today. You'll notice there's a little arrow here where they can scroll through additional characters. Then they'll click Start. You can show them how to play this game. They'll answer the questions by clicking on the right answer. Every time they get it right, they'll climb further up the mountain. There'll be a countdown before each question. And they help the teacher know how well they're doing. There's a countdown timer in the middle. It tells them they have 30 seconds to answer each question. It will tell them if they were wrong and give them the correct answer. All you need to do is keep clicking on the answers to be able to advance. When you're done playing the game, you can click on the arrow to describe your ability to answer the shapes and questions. Then you can click Submit. Then the game is over. I hope this helps you understand how to facilitate a time to climb. Now that you've seen how to facilitate a self-paced Nearpod lesson, let's think about the few extra steps you'll have to take if there will be students in the classroom physically. The first thing you're going to want to do is turn on your smart equipment. If there is a flat screen TV or a smart panel in the room, you'll want to click on the moon-shaped button. This will wake it up from sleeping. Then you'll want to click on the input button that looks like the arrow until you see on the smartboard the same thing you see on the desktop presentation station. If there's a projector in the room, you'll want to use the remote to click on the power button and then click on the input button until what you see on the smart board is the same as what you see on the desktop presentation station. It's always a good idea to try things out on your own before students arrive. Let's see how Mr. Taylor, so now you can see that the Nearpod lesson is up here for you to present to the kids because the desktop is projecting it onto the board. So let's just make sure you can advance the slides. So to do that, remember you can push the blue arrows. So you can read the objectives to the students, and every time you advance the slide, their slide is going to advance too.
Awesome.
It'll give you all the directions there. And if anyone forgets the code or anything like that, you can just click that black arrow at the top right, and it'll pop that code down for you.
Oh,
okay?
Oh, this is going to be easy. This will be a breeze today.
So, and if you need to write on it, so you see this example here, they have to draw the tomatoes. You can just click on the blue marker. Yep, and you can pick your color. And you should be able to draw right on the board with your pen or your finger. Okay? Once you've tested things out, you'll want to turn on your audio enhancement. We have audio enhancement in every classroom.
To turn on your teacher mic, press the power mute button and hold until the battery light turns on. Use the select button to choose which mic you want to control. your mic, the student mic, or auxiliary audio. You can mute your mic by briefly tapping the power mute button. A green ON indicator light will blink while muted. Tap again to unmute. If your mic is muted for more than 5 minutes, it will automatically shut off to preserve the battery. To turn off your teacher mic, hold down the power mute button for about 3 seconds. The battery light will turn off. Once turned off, you can charge your teacher mic. Plug the micro USB charger into the mic's DC input. The charging system will detect the mic's battery and never overcharge it. While the mic is charging, the red charge light will blink slowly. If it's not fully connected or isn't charging properly, the charge light will blink quickly. The charge light will remain on once fully charged. Remember to speak in a normal tone when using the mic. If you can hear your own voice through the speakers, your mic is too loud.
Audio enhancement is important for a few reasons. It can assist when wearing a mask because masks reduce the distance that sound travels, making it difficult for students in the back of the room to hear you. It's also helpful whether or not wearing a mask because students in different areas of the room often hear a teacher's voice differently, especially if the teacher is turned toward the board. It can also help reduce the strain on a teacher's voice, lessening the likelihood that they will lose their voice after speaking through a whole day. Now that we've seen the steps to get ready for a face-to-face lesson, let's take a peek at what it might look like to facilitate a face-to-face lesson with the pieces put together in the classroom.
Okay, class, so today our first lesson, we're going to do a little bit of math. But with this math, we're going to do some adding with pictures. So as you see on your screen, there should be a little blue button. You can follow along as I go, or you can go at your own pace. So it's all self-paced. If I go too fast, let me know. But in the meantime, let's begin. And we're going to click this little button, the blue button on your right. Now, this is the fun part. Let's add it up. You're going to have to draw the number of missing items. Now, it's okay if you get stuck. Just remember, do your best. So let's go, let's begin. All right, so the first one, as we can see, it says the gardens are missing their tomatoes. Draw the missing tomatoes into the garden below to match the numbers. So now you may see this at the top. Let's get this out of the way so we can get the full picture. Okay, here we go. So we have to match. So this is the number what?
3.
3. So in this box, how many tomatoes should we have?
3.
Absolutely. So what are we going to do?
Make more tomatoes.
Absolutely. So if we have 1 tomato, how many more tomatoes do we need to make 3 tomatoes?
1, 2, 3. 2 more.
You're absolutely correct, Miss Bree. Your mom will be proud. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw 2 more tomatoes to this 1 tomato to make 3, because 1 plus 2 equals 3. So if you know how to draw, you can hit this little button right here. You can pick your color. Me, I love green. Okay, well, that's 1. Let's do a little tomato on this one. Oof. Okay, I might want to change my color. I'm not as fancy. Let's see if we can get a yellow. What's that little yellow leaf around it? Oh yeah. You kids are loving this. I'm sure you guys do better than me. All right, so now that we got through this first slide and we had a little bit of fun with drawing and adding, now we're going to see a little blue button at the bottom and it says submit. We're going to hit that button once you're finished. If you're finished, which I hope you are. If not, you still have time. Hit submit. And what this is going to do, your teacher will get this so she can grade it.
you've seen what it's like to facilitate a face-to-face environment as a substitute, let's think about what might happen if some of your students or all of your students were learning at home. Let's first talk about the difference between Launchette at home and hybrid classrooms. In Launchette at home environments, the substitute or teacher is at school, but there are no students in the classroom. All of your students are at home learning from their laptop. If you're teaching in a hybrid classroom, that means that some students are at home and some students are at school.
All right, so the instructions say to use this code to log in. That's easy enough. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, so to get ready to sub today, you need to click on the blue button that says Got It, so the Smart Ink works for you.
Okay.
And then you can click Update Later. And now we're going to open Google Chrome. And once we open Google Chrome, we're going to open up Nearpod.
Okay. So I'll be going to a website for Nearpod.
Yeah, it's a website. So just go up to the address at the top and you're going to go to nearpod.com. And then I'm going to give you the join code. Okay, so Mr. Taylor, today you're going to join with the self-paced Nearpod code.
Okay.
So I need you to go in the red box and you're going to put in BOZSK. Oh, I'm sorry, ZSX.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Awesome. So you're going to go ahead and put in the name of Smartboard. So we know this is the teacher one. And that's going to be the same code that we give the kids in the class when their teacher's not here today. So just click Join Lesson. All right, so this is the lesson you're going to be teaching today. And so you're going to be able to just click on the blue arrows and move the lesson forward. And when you move the lesson forward, then they're going to get the same thing. So you're just going to use the teacher's notes to kind of go through it. So let's go over to the Smartboard and make sure you can do that.
Now to get the kids at home involved and get them on and set up. So I'm going to enter this link for BigbLueButton.
Go.
Okay, you have been invited to join sub. So I'll put my name so they know that I'm the sub. And I'll join this session. Okay, now that I'm all set up, let me send a message to the class, let them know who I am. All right, please open your device and join Nearpod. Please use the code. And what is this code? Let's go back. No, it's BO. To join the class. I need to work on typing. All right, I see that kids are joining. So now let me share my screen so they can see what the class is doing and get involved. share.
Once the substitute has shared their screen, then students at home can see the substitute screen on their device too. This will help them know when to advance their slides and participate while following along with their own Nearpod at home.
Once you've set up, it'll be time for you to split your screen. This is important so that students can see what's happening on your screen while you're presenting and that you can supervise students while presenting content. To put your screens side by side, you'll either drag them each to one side or you can use a shortcut. You can hold down the left or right arrows at the same time you're holding down the Windows button. Then it'll be time for you to navigate to your web conference. The school will have given you a guest link. We use either BigbLueButton or Microsoft Teams. You'll type that address link that they give you inside of the address bar in a new window. To join the web conference, you'll simply click on Enter after entering in the address, and it will take you to one of these two screens. The screen at the top, which is white, is the welcome screen for BigbLueButton. The darker screen is the welcome screen for Microsoft Teams. Both screens will ask you to enter your name. You should enter it the same way you did for Nearpod. Whatever name you'd like students to call you, dash, and then the word substitute. Then click on Join. You'll also notice that in Microsoft Teams, it gives you the option to click on the gear to set your devices. That will allow you to join the audio. In BigbLueButton, you have to join the audio after you enter. Let's learn a little bit about BigbLueButton. When you first join BigbLueButton, you'll be presented with this window that says, how would you like to join the audio? You'll want to select microphone. Now you'll need to click the Allow button to ensure that your microphone is able to be used. Then it'll connect to an echo test. If you hear yourself during the echo test, click Yes. If you do not hear yourself, click No. Now you'll choose Line In if you have an HP desktop, and you will choose Microphone if you have a Dell desktop. You can test to make sure things are working correctly by clicking on Play Sound. If you're wearing audio enhancement, you should hear it playing in the speakers in your classroom. If you're not wearing audio enhancement, you should hear it playing on your desktop. Then you'll click Retry. Then you'll click on Yes after you're able to hear yourself.
You are currently the only person.
The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to join your video. You'll do that by clicking on the Share Webcam button. You'll need to click on Allow. Most of our desktop presentation stations do not have webcams, so you'll need to choose Document Camera from the drop-down menu. Then you'll click Start Sharing. Now your video will appear at the top of the screen. The next thing you need to do is share your screen. To do this, you'll click on the screen with the line through it that says Share Your Screen. Then you'll click on Application Window to be able to select only the screen that shows the Nearpod, like this. Then you'll click Share. Now everyone will see your Nearpod on the screen here, and you'll see that it says screen share has started. The next thing you need to do is learn how to use the chat. You can access the public chat by clicking on the bubbles. In the chat box, you can click inside of it and paste a message to your students sharing the code with them. You can also highlight the sentence at the top and paste it in the chat box to share the phone number that students can call if they're having trouble connecting to the audio. To send the message, click Enter or click on the arrow. Teams. This video will also go over how to join the audio, the video, share your screen, and use the chat. Let's get to know Microsoft Teams. In Microsoft Teams, you have the ability to join the audio upon entry. However, if you need to adjust your audio settings once you're inside the meeting, you can click on the three buttons. When you click on the three buttons, you can click on Device Settings. Inside of Device Settings, you can choose the correct audio, speakers, and microphone. For HP desktop presentation stations, you'll select Line In. For Dell desktop presentation stations, you'll select Microphone. For your camera, many of our desktop presentation stations do not have a camera. You can select Document Camera, but make sure you've turned the document camera on first. You can then position this to face you. The next thing we'll need to do is share our screen. To do that, you'll click on the rectangle with the arrow that says Share Content. From here, we'll click Include Computer Sound, and that will allow us to play the sound inside of any videos, and then click on the Nearpod under Application window. To access the chat, you'll click on the chat bubble at the top. Then you can put a message in the chat box with the join code for Nearpod. There is no call-in number in Microsoft Teams. Let's see what it would look like for a substitute to facilitate a Launched at Home lesson.
Now to get the kids at home involved and get them on and set up. So I'm going to enter this link for BigbLueButton. Let's go. Okay, you have been invited to join sub. So I'll put my name so they know that I'm the sub. And I'll join this session. Okay, now that I'm all set up, let me send a message to the class, let them know who I am. All right, please open your device and join Nearpod. Please use the code. And what is this code? Let's go back. No, it's BO. To join the class. I need to work on typing. All right, I see that kids are joining. So now let me share my screen so they can see what the class is doing and get involved. Let's do that one and share.
Okay, so what will the substitute view look like with Nearpod for subs? So what you're seeing on this screen here is on the right side of the screen, you're going to see that there is a big blue button screen that is open. And in this screen,
you will see that there is a shared screen box in the middle with the Nearpod lesson. And then at the top, you'll see that there is a picture of the substitute. And then here I'm also playing a student. So there's a picture of a student that is joined from a phone at home. Over here to the left, there is a hidden chat screen that I can click on. And that's going to show me the audio number that I can share with students, or the guest link that I can also share if needed. And I can close that like this. As a substitute, whenever I do something on this screen, like this, it is going to show on the screen at the right, and the students can see that at home as well. So you can see here that the student can see what I'm doing on the screen on their phone. In addition, when I move my slide to the right on my computer, then the slide also changes for students because I've shared my screen. So that's a really easy description of what it looks like on both sides of the slide. When I'm trying to use the Nearpod, you're going to notice that there's a few features that you want to be aware of as a sub. The first feature is that at the top, there are these direction pieces, and the directions can be read by clicking here.
The hats are missing their flowers. Draw the missing flowers onto the hats below to match the numbers.
And when I'm done having it read, I can go back. I can also click the blue arrow and bring that up so there's more room. And then at the bottom, I have tools. I have a pen, a highlighter, a text box, pictures, and an eraser. If I click on the pen, I get different colors that I can choose from, and I can use my mouse or my finger or a pen if I have a touchscreen or a smart board to be able to add the different pieces of information that might be needed on the screen to be able to model for students. If I make a mistake, I just click on the eraser and go on over it and erase. To make the slide go forward or backward, I click on the blue buttons on the right or the left of the screen. If I want to erase the whole screen, I can click on this X at the bottom, and it'll erase all the drawing. If students have forgotten the code or I need to show them in the middle of the lesson, I can click here, and I can see the code is at the top. So that's a quick way to remember how to use all of the tools. When students are done with the activity, they click Submit to send it to their teacher.
You did it! You facilitated a lesson. Now it's time to wrap up the day. At the end of the day, it's important that you do 4 things. First, you'll need to make sure you end the meeting. In both platforms, BigbLueButton or Microsoft Teams, you click on the 3 dots you see on the screen and click End Meeting. You'll also want to make sure you shut down the presentation station by clicking on the Windows button, which is the 4 squares, clicking on Power, and then Shut Down. You'll also want to turn off your audio enhancement microphone by holding down the Power button and turning off your smart projector or smart board. It may seem a little overwhelming to imagine facilitating in this environment, but don't worry. We have a couple tips for you. If possible, review the Nearpod subplans in advance. Make sure you've practiced navigating a sample Nearpod. Here's a website address that can help. And there's a code, MAGIC, that can give you all the basics. You can also practice navigating a BigbLueButton session of your own at demo.bigbluebutton.org. Or you can practice navigating a Microsoft Teams meeting using the link below. We know that you're going to do great, and we're all here to help. If you have any issues while presenting or facilitating a lesson in a school, please contact your front office. Thank you.